Take some syrup. Take some cough syrup. Take some painkillers. Go to hospital for an X-ray. Put antiseptic cream on it. Put antibiotic cream on it. Use some eye drops. Use some ear drops. Use some nose drops.
You have an ear infection. You should use some ear drops. You have a sprained ankle. You should go to the hospital for an X-ray. You have a sprained wrist. You should go to the hospital for an X-ray. You have a sore throat. You should take some syrup and some painkillers. You have a sore throat. You should take some syrup and some painkillers. You have an infected mosquito bite. You should put antiseptic cream on it. You should put antibiotic cream on it.
Come in and take a seat. What seems to be the problem? It's really itchy and painful. Let's take a look. I'm afraid it's infected. What should I do? I'll give you a prescription. Should I come back and see you again?
Hello, Mr. Hall. Come in and take a seat.
OK, thank you.
Now, what seems to be the problem?
Well, it's my shoulder. I got a mosquito bite a few days ago, and now it's really swollen, itchy and painful.
OK, let's take a look. Yes, it's very red. I'm afraid it's infected.
Oh no! What should I do?
You should put some antibiotic cream on it 3 times a day. I'll write you a prescription.
Thank you. Should I come back and see you again?
Only if it gets worse.
OK. Thanks again.
You're welcome.
Rough, tough, cough, enough. 2, flew, through, toe. Bought, drought, ought, caught. Round, wound, sound, ground.
Hello, Miss Willis. Come in and take a seat.
OK, thank you.
Now, what seems to be the problem?
Well, it's my ear. It's really itchy and painful.
OK, let's take a look. Yes, it's very red. I'm afraid it's infected.
Oh no! What should I do?
You should use some ear drops 3 times a day. I'll write you a prescription.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Crawl, crawl. Kick, kick. Grab, grab. Kneel, kneel. Grip, grip. Bend, bend. Hang, hang.
Spider-Man is a comic book hero. He is famous for fighting crime, being able to climb up tall buildings, and swinging from building to building using his spider webs.
The French Spider-Man. While no one is looking, Frenchman Alain Robert jumps up an office building and starts to climb the wall. He hangs from balconies, crawls along ledges, and grips the edges of the glass and concrete. There's no rope and no safety net. He's using only his bare hands. By the time he's halfway up, a crowd has gathered on the pavement below. After an hour, he reaches the top, and the crowd sighs with relief. Alain has climbed over 85 of the tallest structures in the world, including the Eiffel Tower, the Empire State Building, and the Petronas Twin Towers in Malaysia. One of his first climbs was at the age of 12. He didn't have his flat keys, and his parents were out, but he was able to climb up the outside of the building, 7 stories high, and crawl through a window. Nowadays, he can manage 80 stories, but amazingly, Alain suffers from vertigo. He feels dizzy when he's up high. He has fallen 7 times, suffering dozens of broken bones, which has left him partly disabled. But this doesn't stop Alain.
I only think about what I can do, not what I can't do,
He says. So why does he do it? Apart from raising awareness about world issues such as climate change, Alain wants people to see their environment differently. He says,
Maybe they think their building is ugly, this big tower with lots of glass, the opposite of a natural landscape. But for me, it's a kind of urban mountain. So I use the place where they work, and I make it a kind of wonderland. Everywhere I climb, I see people who are happy.
After a climb, Alain often leaves in handcuffs. What he does is sometimes illegal, but most of the time he just gets a fine. The police say he can't climb public buildings, but the only thing that stops this daredevil is rain. When it's wet, Alain can't grip the slippery surfaces. In 2002, he got stuck on the 35th floor of London's Canary Wharf Tower when it started to rain. Alain risks his life every time he climbs a new building. His nickname may be Spider-Man, but he is no superhero. He's just an ordinary man living a very dangerous life. You can see videos of Alain in action on YouTube.
Ledge, 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 concrete, 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 rope, rope, safety net, safety net, bare hands, bare hands, gather, gather, sigh with relief, sigh with relief, vertigo, vertigo, broken bone, broken bone, raise awareness, raise awareness, urban, urban, illegal, illegal, get a fine, get a fine, daredevil, daredevil, slippery surface, slippery surface, get stuck, get stuck, nickname, nickname. I have a fantastic view of the whole city from up here. I imagine the people on the ground below look very small, but I don't look down because I might get dizzy and fall. I just look at the building in front of me and try to work out my next move. I need to think carefully about where to put my hands and feet. It's very quiet up here, but I can hear the wind blowing. I am touching the side of the building and holding on tightly. I'm not scared. I'm just concentrating hard on getting to the top.
Alain can't climb slippery surfaces. He wants to raise awareness about world issues. He suffers from several broken bones because he has fallen 7 times. Alain risks his life climbing tall buildings without a safety net. Climate change is one of the most important world issues today. After completing a difficult climb, Alain sighs with relief. Alain climbs up tall buildings without a safety net. Alain suffers from vertigo, so he feels very dizzy when he's up high. Alain suffers from vertigo, so he feels very dizzy when he's up high. Alain climbs walls with only his bare hands. The police don't let Alain climb public buildings.
He is crazy because he has vertigo and he has broken bones and made himself disabled by doing this. He is a daredevil because he risks his life every time he climbs a new building. He is extraordinary because he thought of an unusual activity to raise awareness of world issues.
Hello, Alain. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
So when did you start climbing buildings?
When I was 12 years old, my parents were out and I didn't have my keys. So I climbed up the side of the building and got into the flat through a window on the 7th floor.
What are some famous buildings you have climbed?
The Eiffel Tower, the Empire State Building, and the Petronas Twin Towers.
How many stories can you climb?
About 80.
Why do you do it?
I want to raise awareness about world issues like climate change, and I want people to see their environment differently.
What you do is sometimes illegal. So what do the police do when they catch you?
They put me in handcuffs, but most of the time I just get a fine.
What can stop you from climbing a building?
The weather. I can't climb when it's raining because I can't grip the slippery surfaces.
Where can I see you climbing a building?
On YouTube.
Thank you very much.
Spiders, spiders, snakes, snakes, injections, injections, lifts, lifts, thunderstorms, thunderstorms, the dark, flying, flying, going to the dentist, going to the dentist, heights, heights.
I'm afraid of spiders. When I see one, I shake like a leaf and I feel sick. I'm afraid of snakes. When I see one, my palms sweat and I can't breathe.
I'm afraid of injections. When I have one, my heart beats fast and I feel dizzy. I'm afraid of lifts. When I ride one, my heart beats fast and my palms sweat.
I'm afraid of thunderstorms. When there is one, I shake like a leaf and I feel sick.
I'm afraid of the dark. When it's dark, my heart beats fast and I can't breathe. I am afraid of flying. When I am in a plane, I feel dizzy and I can't breathe. I am afraid of going to the dentist. When I go to the dentist, my palms sweat and I feel embarrassed.
I'm afraid of heights. When I am high up, I feel dizzy and my heart beats fast.
Alone with your fear. Getting to know fear. Not so rare. How to fix it. Affecting lives. Imaginary fears.
Sweat, sweat. beat, beat, shake, shake, catch your breath, catch your breath, fear, fear, enclosed, enclosed, nightmare, nightmare, odd, odd, ridiculous, ridiculous, suffer from, miss out, miss out, sense, sense, signal, signal, pump, pump, adrenaline, adrenaline, muscle, muscle, tense, tense, rational, rational, get stung, trigger, trigger, little by little, little by little, work up to, work up to.
Jane, who is scared of spiders, isn't afraid of snakes. A dentist is someone who many people are afraid of. A lift is something which many people feel nervous travelling in. A plane is one mode of transport which many people fear. A snake, which many people think has wet skin, is actually dry to touch. My neighbour, who is a doctor, is a very nice man.
Phobias. As the doors of the lift close, your hands start to sweat. It's only a 10-second trip to the 6th floor, but your heart is beating fast. You're shaking like a leaf and you can't catch your breath. Everyone else in the lift seems calm. So what are you afraid of? Well, it sounds like you have claustrophobia, which is a fear of enclosed spaces. If you have a phobia like this, you're not alone. People can have either common phobias, like a fear of insects, needles and the dark, or some very strange ones indeed. Vicky Larrieur's fear of vegetables, for example, lachanophobia, makes a trip to the supermarket a nightmare. There are many other cases of odd phobias, such as ablutophobia, fear of washing, anthophobia, fear of flowers, catoptrophobia, fear of mirrors, and even phobophobia, the fear of phobias themselves. Some of these fears might sound ridiculous to you, but to a person who suffers from them, they are very real. Sufferers may miss out on opportunities, such as going on holiday because they're afraid of flying, feel embarrassed about their phobia, even get teased by their friends. To understand the reason why some people have phobias, first we need to understand fear itself. When we sense danger, our brain sends signals to pump adrenaline around our body. Our heart beats faster, our skin sweats to keep us cool, and our muscles tense so that we are ready to escape the danger. This response is called fight or flight, which is necessary for our survival. If we met a bear while hiking, for instance, we would need to be ready to escape, fast. When someone suffers from a phobia, however, the danger is mostly in their minds. It's neither real nor rational. Maybe someone who is afraid of bees, for instance, once got badly stung by a bee. Their brain now remembers the experience and triggers a fear reaction every time they see a bee, or sometimes even just a photo of a bee. The fear signal is very strong, so the person believes the situation that they are in is more dangerous than it really is. So what's the solution for someone who has a phobia? Well, many try to avoid the places and situations which make them afraid, but this only keeps the fear strong. It's much better for the person to try to face their fear, little by little. A person who is afraid of dogs, for example, could start by looking at a photo of a dog. Then they could stand near someone with a dog on a lead and slowly work up to the most difficult thing for them, maybe petting a dog. As they get used to the thing that they are afraid of, they will realize that their worst fear doesn't come true. In time, the brain will change how it reacts, and their phobia will disappear for good.
There are many different types of phobias. We develop phobias because our minds sense danger. There is no real danger, only the memory of an experience which triggers fear. To overcome a phobia, you have to face your fear little by little.
If you need money, you could try to get a part-time job. If you need money, you should try to get a part-time job.
In picture 1, there is a teenage boy sitting at a desk with his hands on his head. There are piles of books around him, and I think he is studying. I think he feels stressed out because of his schoolwork or studying for exams. In picture 2, there is a teenage girl in front. She looks unhappy. There are 3 other girls in the background talking and laughing together. I think the girl feels unhappy and lonely because the other girls are laughing at her.
Speaker 1.
I just have so much to do this year. I have a lot of studying to do because it's my last year at school. And then I have to help out with chores at home because my mum and dad both work all day too. Then there's my weekend job in a shoe shop. I'm thinking of giving my job up because I just don't have enough time for it anymore.
Speaker 2.
My friends are all going away for the weekend, but I don't know if I can afford to go with them. Unfortunately, I often have to say no to my friends when they invite me somewhere. My parents don't have a lot of spare cash, so they can't give me a lot of pocket money. I'm trying to find a part-time job, but it's really difficult.
Speaker 3.
This winter, I just haven't felt as well as I usually do. I've had lots of coughs and colds, and I felt very tired. I have acne too. My mum wants me to make an appointment to see the doctor, but I think I've just worked too hard at school. I just need some rest and maybe some vitamins.
Speaker 4.
I've just been to the hairdresser's and my hair looks terrible. I told the hairdresser to just shorten it a little, but she cut way too much off and now it's really short. I hate it. Plus, some acne has appeared on my chin. I can't believe it. It's Sarah's party on Saturday and I'm going to look awful.
Speaker 5.
We've just moved to a new area. I really like the new flat. It's much bigger than our old one. But I really hope my school is okay. I start on Monday. I'm really going to miss everyone at my old school. I hope I get used to everything quickly and I can make some good friends.
I need money.
Why don't you try to get a part-time job?
That's a good idea. My parents are too strict, and we're always arguing.
The best thing to do is to talk it through and make compromises.
Okay, I'll try that and see what happens.
I've fallen out with my friends, and now they are gossiping about me.
Why don't you phone them and try to work things out?
Okay, I'll try that and see what happens. My classmates laugh at what I wear.
You should ignore them. You have a right to choose your own style.
You're right. I have lots of spots on my face.
You should visit a dermatologist.
Yes, I think that could help.
My friends pressurise me to do things I don't want to.
The best thing to do is to stand up to them. If you don't want to do something, don't do it.
Okay, I'll try that and see what happens.
I've just moved to a new city and I'm finding it difficult to make new friends.
Why don't you find a hobby and join a club? It's easier to make friends with people with similar interests.
That's a good idea.
How can you resist peer pressure? Peer pressure is a normal part of growing up, but it can sometimes be so strong that it makes you feel you don't control your own life. What can you do then to resist peer pressure so you don't do anything you don't want to? To begin with, it's important to trust your own feelings and know your personal limits. As a result, you will feel more confident in your actions. Secondly, you should choose your friends carefully. Then, if your friends share your beliefs, you will reduce the amount of peer pressure you may experience. Another helpful suggestion is to talk it through with someone you trust, such as a friend, teacher, or parent. They may be able to give you helpful advice, as they probably have experience with peer pressure too. All in all, I think peer pressure can be a major problem. However, if you are confident and have support from good friends, peer pressure will never be a problem for you again.
Sleep is a state of rest when your eyes are closed, your body is not active, and your mind is not conscious. There are 4 different stages, including light sleep, deeper sleep, and the state where we have a lot of dreams.
We need sleep for our bodies to repair and grow. Different people need different amounts of sleep.
Catch some Zs. What is sleep? Until quite recently, scientists believed that sleep was a simple, resting state. But it isn't like this at all. When we sleep, our body temperature drops, our heart rate and other bodily functions slow down, but our brains stay very active. What are the different stages? There are 4 different stages of sleep that repeat every 90 to 110 minutes. Stages N1 and N2 are light sleep, and we can easily wake up. In stage N3, we sleep more deeply, and it's harder to wake up. Some people may also sleepwalk or talk in their sleep. The last stage is REM sleep. Our eyes move around, our brain is very active, and we have a lot of dreams. Why do we need sleep? While we sleep, our brain sorts through information, replaces chemicals, repairs cells, and solves problems. Lack of sleep seriously affects our mind and body. When we don't rest enough, we may feel grumpy, forgetful, and unable to concentrate. Lack of sleep can also affect our immune system. Over a long time, it may cause depression and personality changes, and eventually even shorten our life. How much sleep do we need? It's different for everyone, but on average, babies need 16 to 18 hours of sleep. Teenagers about 9, and adults about 7 to 8. Tips for getting a good night's sleep. You should try to go to sleep and wake up at the same time every day. This helps your body to get into a routine. Avoid drinks like cola and coffee before bedtime. They contain caffeine that keeps you awake. Don't exercise or watch scary movies just before going to bed. This will wake your body up too much, and you might find it difficult to fall asleep. Have a calming bedtime routine, such as having a warm bath or reading.
Resting state. Resting state. Drop. Drop. Heart rate. Heart rate. Bodily function. Bodily function. Slow down. Slow down. Brain. Brain. Active. Active. Stage. Stage. Light. Light. Deeply. Deeply. Replace. Replace. Repair. Repair. Sell. Sell. Lack of. Lack of. Affect. Affect. Grumpy. 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 Forgetful. Forgetful. Concentrate. Concentrate. Immune system. Immune system. Depression. Depression. Shorten. Shorten. Get into a routine. Get into a routine. Caffeine. caffeine. Keep somebody awake. Keep somebody awake. Fall asleep. Fall asleep. Fall asleep.
When we sleep, our heart rate drops. We feel grumpy, forgetful, and unable to concentrate when we don't get enough sleep. We should avoid drinks with caffeine before bedtime.
Sometimes you may wake up just as you are falling asleep because your body jerks suddenly. This happens because as you relax into sleep, the brain thinks you are falling down and instructs your muscles to jump back up. If you can't sleep, some people say you should count sheep. The truth is that counting sheep or anything else will actually keep you awake. You shouldn't eat just before going to bed. This is because your body is busy digesting food instead of winding down to sleep. If an adult sleeps more than 9 hours, it is as bad for them as sleeping less than 6 hours.